Neph to America is recorded in front of a live studio audience. Viewer discretion is advised.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Neph to America, your cultural commentary for the end of days. I am David Lee Corbo, a.k.a. The Raven, and I am flying solo today. Top will be with us later on. We're going to do an episode with the Phone Booth Podcast guys. I don't know what we're going to talk about. I hope it's not all about the crash outs that took place online. Those guys have a lot of fascinating stuff to say, although I'm sure it's going to come up. Before we even get into today's episode, though, a little reminder. A great place to support us is, don't say audio. Are you guys not hearing? No, don't fucking, oh my God. A great place to support us is patreon.com/Nephilim Death Squad. Sign up there, gain access to episodes before the general public does, as well as ad-free listening experiences and access to exclusive communities of dangerous retards. I don't know which one of those buttons is the button. I'm on the wrong side of the thing. Actually, you know what? I think I have it over here. Let's see what happens if I do it. All right, doesn't work. Anyway, guys, you'll also going to get discount codes off of merchandise from TopLobster.com. And TopLobster.com is where you're going to get tickets to Bohemian Grove. Also, another one. How cool is that? Go there and you'll get your general admission tickets for, what is it, August 8th? Guys, what day is Bohemian Grove? August 8th, I believe. I believe it is. And you'll be able to get those. That'll be in Wildwood, Florida. There's a bunch of people we haven't even announced yet. We really have to talk about that. I know we're going to have Dr. Heather Lim. We're going to have Laura Baker, Ed Mabry. Of course, Matt is going to be there. But we're also going to have the guys from Hidden in Plain Sight. And we're going to have, there's a ton of people that are coming. I can't even remember it. I actually probably should write it down. I've done none of that. You guys will be surprised. Either that or we'll announce the lineup at some point. But the tickets are moving, so I'm grateful for everybody who's buying them just to see us. And also, you'll get access to all of the merch down here that Top Lobster has designed. We have our Grandma Maxing shirt, the classic Nephilim Death Squad Youth Group Summer Camp. That's a very popular one. What else is a popular one? Not this one with the missing tooth. That one actually hurts me that we sell that. Mother Horse Eyes. There you go. We did an episode of Mother Horse Eyes really recently. And by that, I mean, we went through for 2 hours, about 16 minutes of Mother Horse Eyes. We talked about fiscal policy, I think, for quite a long time, and a bunch of other shit that I can't remember at all. I know we set out to talk about Mother Horse Eyes. Maybe next time we'll get them, guys. Maybe next time. Hey, Nancy's here. Say hi, Nance. Hold on. I think I got to add you to the stage or some shit like that. Boop. And unmute. I can't unmute you. Say hi, Nance.
Hi.
How are you?
Well, how are you?
I'm good. I'm doing all right. Doing pretty good. You know what's funny, guys? The last time Nancy was on, or the last time I did a solo episode, Nancy popped on the screen and then she proceeded to ask me who I was talking to, which I thought was confusing. And I thought she was being cheeky. And so I said, well, Nancy, I'm talking to the chat. And she was still confused, if you guys remember that. After the show, Nancy confided in me that she actually had no idea we were live, which is very funny. So we're going to talk about some fun stuff today. There's been a little bit of development on the same old boring front of alien disclosure. I know I shouldn't be bothering her. This is an important time of the day for Nancy. This is where she's typically getting ready. She's boiling coffee. She's cooking up cats. And she's, I don't know, studying ancient Japanese scrolls. I don't know what it is she does with her time, but I know she does it now, right? Pretty much when the show is happening. So I do recognize this is an important time for her. What the hell was I going to talk about besides you not knowing we were live last time? Oh, we're going to talk about the ticks. That's something we haven't actually discussed here on Nephilim Death Squad. There's a situation with the ticks, and the ticks are, they're a bioweapon that were engineered in some sort of military base and then released in mass in Ohio. And they have a bunch of different versions, the ones that give you Lyme's disease, the ones that give you Morgellons, which is kind of, attached to Lyme's in some ways. And also now the ones that give you meat allergies. But before we get into that, yesterday, just because I was out in nature yesterday, I took my family on a hike Yesterday was Sunday. Yes, yesterday was Sunday. I took my family on a hike, and my son he's 11 years old now. We don't have a button for that. That would have been a round of applause button. But I decided to take him on a hike. I wanted to go to the Ocala National Forest, which I thought was going to be cool. And when we first arrived at the hiking trail, it told you on the map before you depart that this trail is, 1.7 miles, which is not really that long at all. My wife has alpha gal. That's the shit that is that Dingus? Is that what makes you allergic to meat? That's crazy. This is something I previously thought only came from the Lone Star tick, which was prominent in Texas, but which of all places to make people allergic to meat. And did I see the monkeys? No, I didn't see the monkeys. But I think now it's outside of Texas. It's outside of the boundaries of Texas, and it's now everybody else's fucking problem. But anyway, before we get into that, 1.7 miles. That's 1.7 miles each way. Turns out, right? Just shy of 3.5 miles. And I wasn't familiar with the trail, the hiking trail. It's alongside a river, which I thought would be nice, right? And it was. There was a lot of redeeming qualities about it because it was, parallel to the river. But there was absolutely, it was just, there's no tree canopy. You're just in the sun. So I took my family on a hike for 3.5 miles in the Florida sun in the middle of the day. So, oh, no shit. Is that true, Sancho? Ocala State Park had the largest wild community, monkey community in the U.S. I didn't know that was, I got to be honest. We didn't get to see much of anything. We just walked alongside a river for a long fucking time in the direct sunlight. And it was brutal. I want to congratulate my son who handled it very well. Very well. You can only have a certain pace when you're walking with an 11-year-old. And so I know we made that trek a lot longer than it had to be. It was fucking brutal. And last year, this is what I'm getting at with the ticks. Last year, we went to go take some family photos, and we went to, this park, and a woman from our church met us there, and she said that she wanted to take pictures of us for her portfolio. And so that was really nice. We didn't get charged at all, and she took family photos of us, but we were in this kind of tall grass area. And when we came out of there, we were covered in ticks. Some of them are real small. Dude, ticks, to me, there's a couple of creatures. I don't kill bugs, but I'll kill a tick, and I'll kill a mosquito, and I'll kill a palmetto bug. Palmetto bugs are just what Floridians call cockroaches because they have too much pride to admit that they're cockroaches. If you have cockroaches in your house, it's because you're fucking gross. But if you have palmetto bugs in your house, it's because, hey, it's Florida, and, palmetto bugs are a thing. And you go, that's indiscernibly different from a cockroach. And they go, no. It's palmetto bug. They're just cockroaches that are really fucking big, and they can fly sometimes, which is gross. So I'll kill them sometimes. Sometimes I'll kill them. Sometimes they're so big that I do feel bad, and I'll get rid of them. But the ticks are such a problem. Where I came from in the Northeast, they were a real problem. You couldn't go out in the woods, certain times a year without being covered in them. And even here in Florida, when I had that experience, I got, they were all over us. But this time, when we went on our 3.5 mile hike, no ticks. Thank goodness, because I don't know what the hell I would do if I got a meat allergy. Big fan of meat. Not in the gay way, just in the regular kind of steak way. Here, we have a video here from a guy. Who said that before? Who was in the chat that said their wife had whatever the hell it was called, alpha gel? And is that well, here, I guess we'll get into it and we'll see this. Let me bring this up on the screen. So this says a man has become one of the 450,000 Americans, affected by alpha gal syndrome. So let's hear what he has to say. He looks like shit. Looks like a blotchy mess. And maybe that's the tick you got to watch out for. Oh, Dingus, that was you. Yeah. No beef, no pork. Wow. So Dingus's wife. So when are you filing the divorce papers? That's got to be a hard life, man. A hard life. I already can't have seafood because my wife doesn't like seafood, and so I can't justify buying it because I'm not just going to prepare a meal only for me. You know, if I'm going to make dinner, about 2 years ago. Shit, man. And JKJJ says not just the Lone Star. Wow. Damian Murray. Oh, Damian, were you just on the phone? Did you just call here? Was this the guy you were talking about? Here, let's let it play.
My question I ask you is what fucking surface, what purpose do ticks have?
This is what I get at, right? When I don't know if some of you have seen my ongoing saga of a toilet bowl filled with mosquitoes. I have an electric racket and I will it was Damien. Thanks for calling, Damien. Damien called the shop just before we started here and he asked me if I knew about this guy. So that's kind of funny, a little serendipitous. And I will collect all of these mosquitoes in my bathroom because what happened recently is the place where I live, right behind my building, in the adjacent, I guess RV park, they've built an artificial pond. And that artificial pond has become a fucking haven for mosquitoes that like to gather in the shade of my doorway. So when I open up my door, endless amounts of mosquito, most of them, imperceivable, because if I walk into a house with the lights off, I don't notice the cloud of mosquitoes that gets sucked in from the action of the door opening and closing. And they like to congregate in my bathroom. So I'll go to take a piss in the morning, or I'll go to take a shower and I'll open the curtain and I shit you not, guys, 60 plus mosquitoes will pour out of my shower. And then I have to spend the next, and I kind of do it. It's a labor of love because I do hate them so much that I'm glad to do it. I take my electric racket, my little zapper racket, and I get all 60 to 70 mosquitoes and I knock them loose into my toilet bowl for pissing purposes later on. I will piss on them. And I won't even flush. I'll keep it in there. If it's yellow, let it mellow. And it becomes an acidic urine bath for the corpses of countless mosquitoes. And I do this pretty much every day. Every day. It's psychotic behavior, I know, but it has me asking the same question this guy's asking, which is, what the fuck is the point of these things? What is the point of these things? Atma, it's not, the mental image of me swinging the racket might be hilarious, but anybody can go on my Twitter and find my photos of a fresh toilet bowl full of mosquito corpses to be pissed upon. Ticks are very much the same way. These things, I guess they regulate, you could make an argument, they regulate some, aspect of the animal population, by spreading disease. But there is a lot that says that the ticks have been weaponized and that they're mutated and they're released from a military base. Eat extra asparagus because fuck them. Amen, FJ Fool. Amen. All right, here, let's see what we got.
Look at my face and my neck.
Yeah.
I can't eat red meat anymore.
God, that sucks.
I can't have any animal byproducts in anything. And it's in everything. This is alpha-gal syndrome. This is fucked up, man.
This is, for the audience who's just listening, a very gaunt and blotchy David Beckham. This is a guy that could have been like a handsome dude who played soccer, maybe. But those days are long gone. Ticks are ultra gay faggots. Yes. Yeah, Atma, the asparagus makes the pee stinky. So you can, just like Craig's mom. Yeah, this is fucked up, though. So it's not just the ability or inability to eat meat. It's the animal byproduct, period, which is found in so many things. And so I wonder what happens. I mean, is it just a flare up of the skin like this? Is this a result of eating the meat or eating the byproduct? Or is this his regular mode now? Dingus. Oh, Dingus says it's in all Doritos. It's in Doritos and all gummies. Yeah, because gummies have gelatin in them, right? And gelatin is effectively made from like bones. I have never played soccer. That's correct, Sancho. And nor will I. Nor will I. They're tiny suckers in a real gay way, faux show. Yeah, man, I do. I hate them. I hate them. I mean, Lyme's disease is a real bitch. Is a real bitch, and that really comes from, like I said, going back to some of that research. That's in fact, I don't even know if it's research anymore. I think there was a Freedom of Information Act that talked about hundreds of thousands of ticks that were biomodified and released in Ohio. Throat can close up and everything. Damn. Is she blotchy all the time, Dingus? Or is she blotchy only when she eats a Dorito and gummy bears? It's an allergy. Yeah, so he looks like he's broken out in hives.
Fuck ticks.
Yeah.
I love to go hiking. This is fucking crazy.
That sucks, man. That sucks. I mean, and I imagine that it's irreversible. Nancy, can you look up potential solutions to alpha-gal disease? I don't know if that's what you would call it. Or cures. I'm imagining as of right now, there are none, or else it wouldn't be such a big deal. And also, it's rather new. So, like, I wonder if you could just meat max, eat so much meat that your body just gives in and stops. Like, they say if you have an allergy to a thing, it's best to expose yourself to it routinely in small doses, because eventually you build up, some sort of a defense mechanism against it. Chinese medicine, JKJJ says. Fasting and detoxing, rather. Who said that? Beep bop anonymous?
Acupuncture actually is on the list. I don't know if that works. But
acupuncture.
The primary, let's see, just strict avoidance to meat, pretty much.
That's pretty much it, huh?
Is the best you could do.
Well, who said it right here? I want to. So Beep Baba said fasting, detoxing. I think that's probably a great place to start. I just, I'm no medical expert or health expert, but that's how I would start, which is very challenging for me. You guys know it's hard for me to fast. But that would be one of the early places that I went, is like, let's try to remove as many potential irritants from the equation as possible. If you have like an allergy to some sort of food or whatever. Alpha Gal, courtesy of Bill Gates. Yeah, probably. Weaponized ticks and Bill Gates, I'm sure is there's a bunch of data correlating those. That's how I look at conspiracies nowadays. I frame my worldview by what you might call the philosophy is of yeah, probably, and then it just ends up being correct. You go like, yeah, I can see that happening. The guy that got pied in the face and then vaccinated, like, didn't he kicked out of India, of all places to get kicked out of, for killing a bunch of people allegedly with his program? You know what program? I can't say because we're on YouTube right now. By the way, Nance, feel free to kick the YouTube people at the 25-minute mark, guys. If you want to keep watching, patreon.com/Nephilim Death Squad. You sign up there. I think you can sign up for free and still get access to a lot of this content. And then eventually it'll charge you. I mean, like the 7-day free trial. You know what I'm saying? So let's see what else we got. Bob Lazar saying Jesus was an alien. Yeah, I guess we can go here. We're going to watch a little bit of this. And I know, bear with me, guys, but in the sense that it's the same old shit. I feel like we're just circling the same wagon on this show on a daily basis. But, we have to bring it up. What am I supposed to ignore? Let me ask you that. Am I supposed to ignore when fucking Lauren Boebert comes out and says, giant Nephilim demons, alien files show giant Nephilim demons? Am I supposed to do that? What kind of a man would I be if I ignored when this goofy bimbo, I don't know, I don't mean to call her a goofy bimbo. I don't know if she is. I think she was getting, wasn't she getting like diddled on congressional floor or something like that? I don't know. Either way, that's reality now. So unreleased alien files, I don't know what the fuck this redacted word is here, show giant Nephilim demons, claims Rep Lauren Boebert. Bible, they mate with us to make us superhumans, to make superhumans. Why Congresswoman not at liberty to post the vids? What the fuck is this? Is supposedly by RT. I don't think it is though. It's got to be a spoof website because they can't spell. But let's see.
The more I look into this, the more I see the Old Testament and what was told to us there of fallen angels and Nephilim. I mean, this is in the Bible. The more I look into this.
I like it. I like when this sort of thing happens. We have more from her on this topic. You know, like I said, on one hand, I'm experiencing this fatigue because all we do all the time is talk about this same old, tired bullshit. But, you know, Top and I had this discussion the other day where it's like, shouldn't we be rejoicing in some way, shape, or form? Shouldn't we be excited about this? Because, you know, it's vindication. Bad Christian says, let's talk about Disclosure Day. Disclosure Day is not out yet, right? And the issue that I have is that every time I fucking talk about Disclosure Day or I watch anything, I have to remember to later on edit it out in order to not get booted from YouTube. So that's kind of a bitch. Congresswoman Lauren Boebert said that her private classified UFO briefings are far more interesting than the UFO files that the public are getting. That's fun. Let's see that. And you know, this is very much what I've been saying. And it's not that we're going to get something that's groundbreaking. Oh, Mind Trippin' says Backrooms was like, what the fuck did I just watch? Lainey actually advocated for Backrooms, said it was very good. I plan on watching it. I've got no real interest in the Backrooms, although my son, he finds that stuff fun because a lot of that has sort of entered his cultural zeitgeist, right? There's a lot of video games and VR games and YouTube channels that are all talking about the Backrooms. And now it's unfortunate because to me, it's almost synonymous with kids shit, right? Kids content because of that. But the new movie that come out it's rated R. So I'll not be watching that with my son. I don't really mind so much the violence and things of, you know, of that nature. It's when they start showing breast meat and stuff. I go, damn it, dude, can't have you seeing the tits. But you could see like people getting beat up, or maybe you can hear a fuck word because goodness knows I say enough of that at home. I was never somebody who worried too much about swearing. He's not allowed to do it. I don't like when he does it. So, I go, hey, don't do that. But as far as like hearing it, it's whatever. It's fine. But once they start doing, the milkers, I go, no. What's Raven Jr.'s opinion on nigger fights? He doesn't watch those. I'm on YouTube. I just said, well, if you say it all really fast as one word, I'm sure it'll trip the algorithm, or it won't trip the algorithm. Yeah, he doesn't watch it. I don't let him watch, if you want to watch sort of stylized violence in a Marvel film, I don't really have a problem with that. But the harrowing nature of real skulls bouncing off of concrete and the sort of the sickening thud of flesh being pounded against, and the screaming, you guys who were Timeline Cleanse fans remember the screaming. Yeah, it's just too much. It's too much. So I don't show him any of that stuff. We stick to, in my house, we watch Fail Army. Fail Army is a lot of fun. And that's just like watching America's Funniest Home Videos with your family back in the day.
Well, let's talk. We've got a lot to talk about. So let's talk about this Pentagon release and UAPs. What is your take on all of that?
Yes, well, I said it. I heard it best just today. I had a little bit of time in between laundry.
By the way, who is Boebert? This is Boebert, right? Looks kind of the same lady. It feels like her and Anna Paulina Luna. Oh, Looney, that's so silly. What a silly joke. Anna Paulina Looney are kind of jockeying for, which sort of sexual Congress. Is she a congresswoman? So which one of these goofy bitches is gonna, maybe I should stop saying that. That's not nice. Which one of these ladies is going to be spearheading UFO disclosure? Isn't that weird? Like, why have they given us Congress and Congresswomen have historically always been goblins. And now when it comes to disclosure, they push these sort of bimbos out in front of us, and we have them dancing. I don't know. It just feels weird. Am I wrong? Goofy bitches. I don't know. Boebert doesn't seem to have much in the boob department. I think she does. I think she's got a set of sweaty cans on her. And I remember that kind of being the thing that was going viral for a while. And that's why, Boebert and Boebert is a funny name. Disclosure so far has been very gay. It has. But here, Miss Boebert is going to tell us that there's more to come. By the way, me and this white bitch got the same vertical slats behind us, huh? Look at us. We ain't shit. We ain't shit.
Switching, and I was watching a reel, and this guy said, I trusted and believed in aliens a lot more before the U.S. government started saying they were releasing the information. And I could find a lot of truth in that, but there's a lot of frustration. Every skiff that I've gone into, there's always a caveat and excuses of different contractors who have onion.
By the way, have you guys seen what they did with aliens.gov? That's actually very funny. I'm not going to bring it up here, but you guys can go and look at it. Aliens.gov, that website that we were waiting for a while to have some association with disclosure, has now been used as a satirical site. It's not a satirical site because it does lead to real information, but it's all about illegal immigration, like illegal aliens, which is, I don't know. It's sort of a rug pull that it's a confusing one. I just go I go, why? Why even do that? You're at the same time you're releasing UFO files, UAP files, whatever. So it's not like if they did, it was an illegal aliens website. If they did that and they didn't release any UAP files, I'd be like, fucking look, they got us. How crazy is that? But they are releasing it. They're just not releasing it there. They're releasing it elsewhere. And I go, well, what the fuck is the point of even doing that? Weird. Nobody cares about aliens. That shit is a luxury belief. Everybody's so broke, we just don't care. Well, JJ, I think that's a pretty keen observation. But in my opinion, I think that the media has, when I say the media, I mean like Hollywood, has set our expectations so high, and they've propagandized us into having a lot of pretty advanced ideas about what this is. Of course, over here we go demonic entities, channeled entities, things from the spirit realm, maybe made manifest, or maybe biomechanical creatures or hybridized creatures or whatever, but it's all of the knowledge on how to do so is channeled from the spiritual realm. So it's a bit of a nuanced thing. But on the other side of it, you have Galactic Federation slop, which is its own built-out lore. I think we're just so accustomed to our own built-out lore that we're watching them go through the sort of novice level shit, and they're dragging the novice level shit out for so long that it is boring. Because we only want a thing if it's entertaining. So, in order to, let's say, impart a message on you or a value on you, it needs to be done through a piece of entertainment. Like music. Music is a good tool for imparting some ideas that, because of the delivery vehicle of it, you're very much willing to internalize this messaging, whatever it is that's in the song. And the same thing happens with movies. I think songs are the best way because you got 3 minutes and you can impart a bunch of retarded ideology and values on a person. And because that song resonates with them, they're going to internalize all of it and not think. So we're only willing to internalize information if it entertains us. This is not entertaining. This is not entertaining. And I think they're trying. That's why they're giving us Lauren Boebert and Anal Paulina Luna. They're trying to make it entertaining. they're like, let's introduce a little bit of sex appeal. And you go, but this is like, they're congresswomen. What do you mean sex appeal? They're congresswomen. And they go, yeah, I know they're congresswomen, but these people are never going to find any of this compelling unless we give them something to make their dick hard. People cannot think unless their dick is hard. That's where we're at now. And so they give us, isn't that weird? Sparrow of the Vine says boobs and anal. Yeah, what's going on there? Lauren Boebert and anal Paulina Luna? You think that's an accident? No. This is how subliminal messaging works.
Like clearance, and not everyone is read into everything. And so while one department or one contractor may be familiar with one layer to the onion, there's so many more beyond that. And I do believe that the files that were released recently, while historic, are underwhelming, especially given what I have seen in classified briefings that I'm not yet at liberty to fully disclose. But there's a lot more that is certainly unexplained. There is a lot of underwater activity, and I'm excited for some of that to come out and have the American public give their input to it. And some of this, just very well may be technology that we have tapped into that we aren't letting our adversaries know about. But most of the things that we are seeing, we are not familiar with other countries having this sort of technology or even ourselves. And there's a lot that is unexplained and some that is even supernatural.
I agree with you there. I have my thoughts on what all of this is about. Matt Gaetz was on here a couple of weeks ago talking about the alien hybrid breeding program. Years ago, if I would have said those.
What's fascinating is we are watching her. She's talking about the technological aspect, which is very boring. And you can almost see across the board, the people that are most fascinated with the technological aspect are faggots. I know that's jarring to hear. You go, what do you mean by that, Raven? But think about it. Let's say Ashton Forbes. Ashton Forbes is a fantastic example. Because right now what you have whipped up into all of this is this prospect of the supernatural, which is very fascinating because I think that does more to alter your worldview than highly advanced technology does. And there are some people that are fascinated and cannot stop talking about the technological aspect of it, whereas retards like us are sitting over here and we're going, hey, who owns the technology? Who imparted the knowledge on how to make the technology? Where does the technology come from? I don't care about folding space-time. And I'm not going to lie. I've talked about it on the show. If you give me a pair of jet boots, I'm going to be pumped. That's super cool. I love that. But I'm going to go okay, so let's talk about where this came from. Ashton Forbes was fascinating with his research, and then he turned into a fag. He turned into a screeching homosexual. Brutal. Marty Max says, Owen Benjamin tell you that's no accident. Boebert and anal Paulina. Yeah. Anal pole? By the way, stripper, Paulina? What's going on here? Lauren Boebert and anal Paulina? I don't know. Seems a little too on the nose. Panda says, I've been at the water park these last 2 weekends straight. I'm exhausted. That's actually why I'm doing this show today, is because I'm not going to be here tomorrow. I'm going to be at a water park with my son and his buddy. Damien says, dude, I was big into the orbs for 2 months. Yeah, those things are fascinating when they first breach the cultural zeitgeist. But after some time, you move on to more fascinating questions, right? So the orbs, what are we talking about? Well, they might be some sort of organic plasmoid, intelligent plasma, or they might be nuts and bolts, or they might be something that's in between that does have the ability to take form, but then also can, I don't know, turn more into something that's light so that it's no longer bound by, physics as we understand it. and you go, okay, cool. And there's only so much of that conversation you can have. I find that the conversation surrounding the entities is much richer. It's much more fun. It's a sexier conversation. Amy says it's all fake and gay. It definitely is. It definitely is. But I mean, if what Lauren Boebert is saying here is true, that we're going to move into a place where we're going to start talking more about Nephilim and giants and all that other stuff. And I was listening to the Skiba News Network appeared on Tinfoil Hat. You guys should give that a listen. We actually got a nice little shout out to the boys. And they're going to be on here soon, or we're going to be on their show soon, or somebody's going to be doing something soon. I think it's going to be this week. And they were playing clips from Rob Skiba. And Rob was talking about the, before the deluge, this idea that those offspring, those Nephilim, were like giants. And those are predominantly killed in the floods. And then after that, a new type of Nephilim started to be created. And that's much more of the hybridized demigod. So pre-flood, much closer to the Titans of Greek mythology. Post-flood, much closer to the demigods of Greek mythology. I said, oh, that's fucking fascinating. Yeah, they dropped a little my wife. I love those guys. Those guys are dope. We're actually going to be at their event. I got to show you guys the flyer for it. So if any of you guys are in Texas and have your reservations about coming all the way to Florida for Bohemian Grove, well, you might be able to see us. I think it's October or something like that at TruthorCon. Is that what they do there? It might be TruthorCon or Conspiracon, or forgive me if I've said the wrong thing here. I have my phone, which actually has the thing in it here. I'll tell you guys. I was talking to Jeremiah just the other day. I really enjoy those guys, Jake and Jeremiah. They fuck in a platonic, not each other, and in the most non-sexual way possible. Here, hold on a second. Boom, boom, boom. Gary Wayne, need a booth. I guess we're gonna have a booth there. That's cool. Very nice. And the poster. Hold on.
November 7th to the 8th.
November 7th to the 8th. What the fuck's this event called? TruthorCon.
TruthorCon.
We'll be there. Thanks, Nancy.
Those words, I probably would have ended up somewhere with, in a white jacket. Why now, Lauren?
Yes, well, actually, I had brought this up in a congressional hearing, asking about the rumors of there being breeding with these biological beings and humans. This is something that whistleblowers came to Congress.
That's a crazy concept too, by the way. The breeding. They have been using the word breeding program, and of course, on this show we've talked about that quite a bit. Karen Wilkinson, black-eyed children, abductees who are women being impregnated by these entities. And this is where Timothy Alberino goes south on us. That sounded like a blowjob joke. It's not. But he deviates from our ideas right there because he thinks that, I believe he said what is perceived as a physical phenomenon is never a physical phenomenon. And I said, I don't think that's the case. And Joseph Jordan, the MUFON investigator, has a very similar idea in that this is a spiritual phenomenon posing as a physical phenomenon. And whether or not that's the case, I do believe that there is a real physical aspect to it. This hybridization program being one of those. But it is just harrowing because if they said something along the lines of like, look, Damien says, while we're at pause, I tried LSD the other day. Like a retard, ended up being pretty. Should I send the story into Chronicles? Send it. Yeah, I never, I thought Israel got me is what he said. I don't advocate for psychedelics whatsoever. That being said, when I did psychedelics, I had good experiences, but I'm just never going to advocate for it on this show because I don't know where anybody is at in their own life. And I do think that they are sort of a cheat code into a spiritual realm. It's like entering a spiritual realm illegally. And once you do that, a lot of things have a lot more rights to you than they would have otherwise. But yeah, Damien, send it in, chroniclesnds@gmail.com. I don't remember what I was saying now. Something about Nancy, what the hell was I talking about?
Truth or con?
Probably
Or
not.
something.
About in private settings.
I remember now. They're fucking them. That's what's crazy. That's what's crazy. Because if you told me in the deep underground military bases, you were splicing genes, you know, when you were working in embryonic stages only, and you were, let's say, like stealing embryos from some of these, what would you call them? Like baby farm operations that are horrifying. And in vitro, you were doing a thing or two. You know, you were splicing genes, you were CRISPRing it up. I'd go like, yeah, that makes sense, dog. Creating chimeric nightmares. But breeding, to me, sounds a lot more like fucking. So does that mean that miles beneath the Earth's surface, there are people that are getting blapped up by nightmare monsters? I mean, I've heard the Nords are very attractive. In fact, I've heard their JKJJ says a couple of my friends with sleep paralysis got sleep apnea machines, no more incidents. That's interesting. Are they fat? I feel like fat people need sleep apnea machines much more often. But yeah, I've actually heard that the Nords are so beautiful that it causes involuntary arousal. I mean, I don't know if arousal is necessarily a voluntary thing, but you get what I'm saying. Like they would, despite the horror of the situation where you're being poked and prodded and you've been stolen from your house and you're in the sleep and you don't even know if you're going to survive this or if you're ever going to see your family again, you get horned up. Which is actually kind of funny. Just given everything I just said, right? You've been removed from your room forcibly. You've been kidnapped. By what? By monsters. What are they doing? They're fucking you. You have maybe a distinct fear that you're never going to go back home again. And obviously there's all kinds of concern for your mortal coil as well as your soul, right? We have to talk to Fringe again soon because Fringe, she talks about this idea of like soul stealing technology that these things seem to have, which like maybe, dude. That's certainly the impression that people are left with. Sparrow of the Vine says, Jonathan from Cult of Conspiracy says he got sexual with the cat goddess while he was on shrooms or something. Yeah. I don't know what happened to those guys. They were, so we had them on. I forgot what Meta Mysteries. We had Meta Mysteries on, which is Jonathan and his cousin. I don't remember how that conversation went. I think we might have given them some pushback because it seemed as though Homeboy was like interacting with something that might have been identifying as a fallen angel when it basically presented itself as Odin to him. So, of course, in our mind, there's layers of deception that are going on here. And he has this dream or this experience where he's like a watcher and he's grieving because he's watching what's going down on the earth and he wants to intervene. So he asks the head honcho, which appears as Odin, if he's allowed to go and intervene in these horrific things that are happening on Earth, to which, you know, he's given Odin's blessing. And then I guess the rest is history. He manifests on Earth. And in my mind, I'm like, that's such special boy shit. Isn't it? That's such special boy shit. That's what we all fall for is you're a special boy. You were a watcher who descended upon the Earth to help humanity. Yeah, you know, and I know he's done DMT before. He did DMT. I don't know if this is the same instance. It may have been at Bohemian Grove, or at least before Bohemian Grove. He came out here. He had, he did DMT, and then he went and eventually performed after it wore off. So a lot of what we asked him to do on stage was a little unfair. We said, hey, I need you to steer a conspiracy roundtable. And basically he was still reeling from the existential dread of what I remember being described as a negative DMT trip. So big task. And then, and I don't know, then they kind of went their separate ways, I think. Him and the cult of conspiracy. And I feel bad because I've been calling, I don't know if I've been doing it publicly, but I've been calling Jacob's new co-host a witch. Because she looks like a witch. Her name is Raven. Interestingly enough, her name is Raven Lee, which my last name means Raven and my middle name is Lee. So that's weird. But I'm not a big-titted goth witch. And you might think, well, it's unfair to just call somebody a witch because they look goth. But she had like these earrings that said witch, and they were pentagrams, and they said witch on them. So that's like me wearing a shirt that says barista, but when you ask me to pour you a coffee, I look at you weird. So I don't know whatever happened to those guys. They kind of went their separate ways, or they split because he got tired of conspiracy. Raven seems cool, but she's pretty esoteric. I don't. Oh, who got tired of conspiracy? Jacob or Jonathan? You know what my thing was with Jacob is I believe Jacob's Christian. And so I think, we had this moment with Clint, and we had a falling out. And then afterwards, shout out to Scott, he shows me a passage from Corinthians that talks about not being unequally yoked or equally yoked with non-believers. And I was like, yeah, dude, we were about to like potentially enter some business relations with this dude, and he's not a believer. So, on the topic of cult of conspiracies, like I know Jacob is Christian, or at least he did proclaim it at one point. Yeah, so you linked up with a dude who I'm sure you guys were real close buddies. She's the inversion of you. Huh. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it is funny, right? She's like Negami. Jonathan just wants to be a warlock now. Fucking A, dude. Oh, boy. Shout out to those guys.
And they wanted us to go to actual bases and see for ourselves what was going on, but that access was denied. So this is not something that I've seen firsthand, but there's certainly been a lot of talk of it. So I can't tell you for sure if that is real or not. But again, look back at the Bible and all of the talk of Nephilim and fallen angels breeding with humans. People think I'm crazy for believing in some things, but I believe in the Bible. That's about as crazy as you could get, because I take it at face value and believe it with my whole heart.
So, I mean, while those things, I hear them and I do like them. Raven Mussy, what a hypocrite. Raven shows up looking like a gay, but claims he isn't. Pot and kettle. That's a fair observation. But to that, I would say I don't begrudge anybody who starts off thinking I'm gay. I present this way. It's my job to win you over. So
I thought you were gay. I thought you were really gay.
When was that?
When I first started watching.
Well.
But you grew on me, though.
And that's okay. Well, it is hard to hear when you say that, but I also know that that's my fault. And so, I think that she probably, if she's not a witch, would feel the same, right?
Yeah.
Keisha Blackname says his poor wife. My wife actually buys me all my outfits. I think it's actually just like a deterrent to keep women from trying to talk to me in real life, like in public. Like if I'm out, she's like, I'll dress him gay. So, yeah, I mean, when she says here.
So I don't know if anyone cares, but I guess Iran just attacked a U.S. base in Kuwait.
Really?
Yeah.
That just happened?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm unmoved, but a step closer to World War III that gets interrupted by Pleiadians.
Perhaps. Yeah, I don't
Perhaps.
know how many people have died or anything like that. It's just breaking news.
All right. Well, let's hope all of them. So when she's talking about how at the end of this clip, she goes, I believe the Bible, and think about what the Bible says, all the stuff it says about Nephilim and fallen angels. I don't know. It gives you this impression that it's there a lot. Like that's what the whole Bible's about. And it's actually not there that much. And then you do kind of have to use some context clues. So even as somebody who, the show's called Nephilim Death Squad, and I think that the theories of Nephilim being disembodied spirits, demons being disembodied spirits of Nephilim, and fallen angels are a higher ranking thing, the Elohim, which I wonder sometimes, like when the Bible says devils, demons, and unclean spirits, if demons is accurately interpreted as a dead Nephilim, could devils be a fallen Elohim, an Elohim that's no longer in the grace of God? I don't know. But I will admit, when she says it like that, it gives you the impression that this kind of thing is much more rampant. It is in the sense that it's the backdrop for everything. But as far as language in the Bible that talks directly about it, actually doesn't come up that much. So it's fascinating that everybody is jumping on this boat as if the Bible is something that aggressively reiterates this concept. And it really doesn't. It doesn't. My wife dresses me, quote the Raven. Yes. Well, she doesn't physically dress me, but she does a lot of the clothes shopping. So, like, I don't go out and buy clothes all at once. Throughout the year, my wife, who likes to go to places like TJ Maxx and Ross, she'll come back with pair of pants here, shirt here, periodically. And so that's it. That ends up being how I kind of, get my wardrobe. What are you doing, Matt? Are you okay? You hurting for money?
Yeah, I will come
Hi, Matt.
on the show if you want to shut your
Nancy says hi. You can't. You got a coffee shop to run.
Hi, Nancy.
Matt says hi.
I heard him.
Live or no?
I am live.
Pretend I'm not here.
All right, fine. So here, let's see what else we got. That was Lauren Boebert, and we talked about that. This is interesting.
Like Krusty the Clown.
Well, we're going to do that after this one. I like the Krusty the Clown one. I don't know where to buy extra medium wife beaters. All you have to do is go to the kids section. That's where I get all my clothes. So I guess we'll read this. Yeah, this is lengthy, but we'll read it. Could bear some interesting things. It's about Bob Lazar. It's by Stephanie Kent. I don't know who the fuck that is. 28th GGD of Caterwalder. I don't know what the fuck that is at all. But God bless her. She says, Bob Lazar has made one of his most controversial claims yet, stating that while working at the alleged S4 facility near Area 51, he encountered a classified government briefing document that discussed religion in an unexpected way. As a matter of fact, I kind of feel as though I've already heard about this. So this bitch isn't really breaking news. I don't mean to call her a bitch. She has to understand. This is just the way that I talk. According to Lazar, the document suggested that Jesus was genetically engineered, a claim that has fueled intense debate and disbelief. So this is where we're going to start to go towards a place where Jesus is an alien, which is something that we've talked about and anticipated for some time on this show. Lazar has said that the briefing was part of a background material provided to scientists to help them understand non-human involvement in human history. He claimed the document framed religion as a form of social control influenced or guided by advanced beings. with genetic manipulation used to shape belief systems and behavior.
So
Yeah, I
Mary
mean-
was abducted?
Well,
was implanted?
well, look, what the Raelians say is that Jesus was a Nephilim, which on its face sounds like, but it's like, what is a Nephilim? It's potentially the offspring of human beings and Elohim. And God being the Elohim, the greatest above all Elohim, you could then say that that's not so incorrect. But
Jesus being half angel?
half Elohim, half human, right? I actually had an interesting conversation with somebody the other day where they didn't want to talk about Jesus being Jewish. And I said, well, Jesus was Jewish in that he was from the tribe of Judah. And that's significant because it highlights that God keeps his promises, right? God's promise to Abraham that the world will be blessed through his bloodline. And then Jesus comes from his bloodline. So in that sense, Jesus's Jewishness, and then you get back and forth. Well, like Jewishness wasn't a thing, and there's Judah and Jewish. It's like, okay, yeah. And that's why this conversation gets weird, because Jewish is the only thing that is both a race and a religion, right? So like this conversation is almost purposely made very confusing. But nevertheless, if there is a true Jewish genetic lineage and you claim that it is from the line of Judah, well, then that is where Jesus comes from. And that stands as this reminder that God keeps his promises. And the guy goes, yeah, but now that Jesus is ascended to heaven, genetics don't play a role anymore. So that's unimportant. And I go, I don't know. I mean, we're not saved by genetics. We're not saved by the law. We're saved by, faith in Christ. So, but does that mean that genetics don't play any kind of role anymore? Because Elohim seemed to have genetics. So if you were to say like, well, Jesus ascended to heaven, does that mean he has no genetics? Because Elohim have genetics, or else what the fuck would a Nephilim be? Half what genetic? You know what I mean? So it's an interesting conversation. And I see a lot of people get mad at that. They're like, I don't want anything to do with, Jesus wasn't a Jew. I'm like, well, Jesus wasn't telling you to jerk off. And he wasn't feeding you, refined sugars and simple carbs. And he wasn't, advocating for predatory loans. So, that almost doesn't matter. The fact that he shares a word in common with the people that you think are subverting every civilization on earth, well, it's like, okay, yeah, but he's not subverting at all. In fact, the things that he's doing, telling you to, to resist the sins of the flesh or the desires of the flesh, like all of that flies in the face of what the Jews are doing, which, yeah, they're definitely doing it. But yeah. So it's just an interesting idea. It's like, well, do the genetics of Jesus still matter? I would say yes. And in particular, they matter to God. They matter to Jesus because God is outside of time. He's outside of time. So I don't think God looks at, well, there was a time where my promise to Abraham mattered, but now that time has passed. I mean, maybe for us and the way that we perceive it, but since God is outside of time, it's like, I don't know. I'm not so ready to say that it doesn't matter. Am I making sense? You bitch.
Oh, you're talking to me. Yeah, makes sense.
I've been talking to you.
That was a rhetorical question. Sorry.
That's all right. So anywho, boom, boom, boom. So he claimed the document framed religion as a form of social control, advanced beings. Genetic manipulation used to shape belief systems and behavior. The idea, if true, would radically challenge both religious doctrine, and conventional history. I mean, I don't know if that. So what's he saying here? Non-human involvement. Okay, let's call him Elohim in human history. So Lazar claims that he saw stuff that claimed that Elohim involvement in human history was a thing. He claimed the document framed religion as a form of social control. I mean, you might call it a social control, a form of social control. And is that so wrong? You go, hey, stop fucking jerking off and stop stealing from people. There's real meaning here in life. There's a beautiful drama and saga unfolding here. Stop behaving like a creature. Rise above your carnal nature. That's a form of social control, right? So fine. Influenced or guided by Elohim, let's say Elohim, with genetic manipulation used to shape belief systems and behavior. I don't really have a fucking problem with this at all. Or am I being too charitable in my interpretation of this? Well, here, let's go on. Critics argue that there's no evidence such documents exist and point out Lazar's long-standing controversy and lack of verifiable records confirming his employment at S4. I thought we already got through that, though. I thought he was, like, pretty well verified as, I thought it was S2, whatever. Religious scholars and scientists alike dismiss the claim as speculative at best. Well, I mean, no, it's not speculative. Elohim, right? He is the Son of God, the highest Elohim, and Mary. So is it heretical? Am I an asshole for thinking like, yo, if you tested his DNA, you would find that of Mary's or human, and then you would find something else? I don't know. Or maybe I'm an asshole for taking the Bible literally. Proof is served as genetic engineering. Ancient times. Still, supporters argue the consistency of Lazar's broader story keeps the discussion alive. Whether the misinformation, misinterpretation, or deliberate disinformation, the claim continues to circulate as one of the most provocative intersections of UFO lore, religion, and government secrecy. It raises unsettling questions about what classified narratives may exist behind closed doors and why such ideas continue to resurface decades later. Lazar just proved that he did, in fact, have access to this information because it's the truth. Steph, okay. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really have a problem with that. I thought I was going to have more of a problem with it. It just depends on your interpretation, right? Because if you go, Elohim were the non-human entities, that we're interacting one way or another with Earth, and that Jesus is a hybrid of these two things. As long as you made the delineation that Jesus is a hybrid of the Elohim, not Elohim in general, but the, Alpha, Omega. I don't know. I don't so much have a problem with that. Man, I'll tell you what. You can kind of see where the line between alien Gnostic slop and reality is so close. Because all you got to do is go Elohim equals aliens. Aliens bought us Jesus Christ. Aliens have been interacting periodically throughout human history, creating systems and introducing technology and all that other shit. Like, man, it's so close. It's so close. This is the ultimate 9 truths and 1 lie. Very close. Okay, we have a couple more things, and then we're going to get out of here. It's going to be a relatively short show, maybe an hour and a half, because at 3 o'clock, we do have another show coming up with the Phone Booth podcast, guys. I hope you guys stick around and check that out. I know we had something more fun. This is fun. So apparently this is from I don't know if this is real, because I could have swore I already heard this in a Crash Bandicoot game. which now makes me go like either this one's not real or the Crash Bandicoot wasn't real or none of it's real. And it's all just very funny. Simpsons Hit and Run from 2003, which is a great game. A Jewish Clown. Is Krusty the Krusty the Clown? Krusty Krab is the name of Mr. Krabs' restaurant. Krusty the Clown.
He's a Jew.
He's a Jew?
In the show, yeah.
That's very funny. Krusty the Clown, a Jewish clown. A Jewish clown insults you as lousy goyim and threatens legal action if you challenge him for sleeping with your underage daughter. Wow. Simpsons Hit and Run was a great game. A great concept. It was Crazy Taxi or Crazy Cab, except with the Simpsons. So I guess in that way... Wait, no, this doesn't look like it. They're walking around. Is this the same game? Simpsons Hit and Run. Yeah. I guess in that way, they just stole the entire idea from Crazy Cab or Crazy Taxi, whatever the fuck it was called. All right, let's hear it.
Lousy goyim.
Why, you little...
I swear I didn't touch your daughter.
Hey, yeah!
This is worse than Vegas.
Yeah! An older boy told me to do it. Out of my way, chump!
Super. Great. Thanks a lot.
Okay, that's a lawsuit.
I swear I didn't touch your daughter, and she told me she was 18.
Oh my God. Bro, that last part was crazy right before he got ran over. I swear I didn't touch your daughter and she told me she was 18. That's crazy. Simpsons Hit and Run is a GTA clone. Simpson Road Rage is the Crazy Taxi clone. Okay. I actually have never played Hit and Run then. I've played Simpson Road Rage, which was very fun. Do they have gas chambers in this game? I mean, this is crazy. Lousy goyim. That's fucking nuts, dude. That should be a drop. Nancy, didn't we get some fun drops over the last couple days? I don't think we got It Was Stinky, did we?
No. We
have to get...
Yeah, put it on loop.
Stop, he has a brain injury. Stop, he has a brain injury. Stop, he has a brain injury. Stop.
I like that one. Stop, he has a brain injury is good. But I could have sworn we had, I guess we didn't get it yet, huh? All right, we got to get It Was Stinky. I'll work on that. We got to revamp a lot of our drops. A lot of our drops need to get out of here. A lot of licensed games just reskin the same engine as a successful house brand game. Yeah, that's definitely what they did here. Game makers always drop big nuggets. Gary Wayne should review the FromSoft games and their lore. What are FromSoft? FromSoft. I don't know what that is. I think the average person has a brain injury from the poison we consume constantly. Yeah, I think I do. I suffer from a lot of it's not that I suffer from brain fog as much as I guess you could say that. I just can't think. Maybe it's because of some sort of chemicals. Coincidentally, I'm playing Simpsons Road Rage on my PS2 the last few weeks, and then this goes viral. Illuminati confirmed. Who knows? That's interesting, Julius. I've been playing Uncharted 1. And I'm going to beat it, and I'm going to play Uncharted 2. I cannot find any good games ready to drive through a pride parade. Yeah, if they come out with the new GTA, right? Me too. I can't play any new games. Everything seems to suck ass. Yeah, Uncharted is fun. But I don't know. Last of Us 1 and 2. Yeah, I might do that. I was thinking about doing that. When I was younger, I wanted to be a treasure hunter. I used to... Man, this is kind of crazy. I used to get my hands on...
David, we're taking pictures of the studio, so look good.
Okay, I'm going to tell a different story then. It's a very inappropriate story. But yeah, when I was younger, I did want it. I thought that I would get a skiff and I would go snorkeling off the coast of Florida for gold. And because I bumped into a guy, was a sort of a buddy of mine, you could say, who did the same thing. He was a jewelry store owner. And the way that he got to be that was he first started by diving off the coast for gold. And then once he got enough, he met enough people in the gold industry and he had enough of his own, stock or whatever. And then he opened up a store and then he started buying and selling and trading gold. So the way that I knew that, I had to stop telling that story because Top's here with some guy that's taking photos. I actually used to procure a lot of gold. You can be creative in your guessing as to how I would manage to do that when I was homeless. And so I sold a lot of gold jewelry that I came across in quite legal ways and unremarkable fashions. And my buddy would ask no questions as to how this came to be. He would not let me sell it in his store, but he would allow me to come to his home. And I remember, man, one time I went into his house, beautiful house, and he says, come on down in the basement. And I don't remember what I'm selling. Some of it ended up being costume jewelry and shit, I think. But he opened up like this case where he kept a lot of like gold and diamonds and pearls and cash and old money and old coins. Man. And when I saw that, I said, I want to do what this dude did. Never came to pass. My son wants to be an explorer. And I think that's great. Because the public school system tells you that everything has been discovered and there's nothing left to learn. And so it does a great job of squashing that in you. And then not long ago, maybe last year or the year before, Japan did a land survey and discovered an additional 1,000 islands. And so there's still so much to discover. Carlos says Indiana Jones was my hero growing up. I loved the Indiana Jones film. My adversarial relationship with Timothy Alvarino did a number on my childhood. My rap sheet must be interesting. No, I've only been caught for a couple of things. Assault, and some sort of like weapons charge with intent. But I don't even think I really got charged with that. I think it just got compounded onto my probation time. I don't know what the hell it was. It was a kind of a screwy situation. I got in more trouble for skipping out on rehab for weed. Sent me to rehab for weed than I did for anything else. And it was what a stupid time. What a stupid time. Yes, thank you, Amy. Amy says I have a very cool kid. I do. Jack is awesome. And I want him to do something that he actually wants to do. And I don't want him to have to try to do something for money for the grind. Because that makes me sad. So many things just kill that those meaningful things in your heart. You ever suck dick for weed? Right, exactly. Like, no, I'm not fucking sucking dick for weed, dude. I might have sold some jewelry for for weed, but I never sucked a dick for weed. People out here sucking dick for meth.
Is this any way to treat a celebrity? Now you're looking at a lawsuit.
Don't worry, that should heal fast. I keep making God madder and madder.
Me too.
Ah, crap!
Why, you little...
lousy goyim.
We got to get that drop. I got to talk to Top about doing that. Getting the lousy goyim drop would be a banger. But you know what's funny? That's not the first game that I've seen that in. I actually posted about that, and maybe I can find it. Hold on a second. This is interesting. This was, if I'm not mistaken, Crash Bandicoot. Yeah. Well, check this out. Is this real? Chat. Israel? So here we go. When was this? May 14th. What the hell's today? The 1st of June. So this is half a month ago.
That's just wrong. I will mess up your looks for that. Lousy goyim.
What the fuck? What's going on here? Yo, what's going on here? That's weird, right? How is that what seems to be a really rare aberration? Is that even a word? Aboriginal? Aberration. It's like a thing that never happens. It's a blip on the radar, something that's outside the parameters of generalities. It's an outlier. It's an aberration. Is that a real word? Nancy, is that right?
Aboriginal? Well, like
no, an aberration. Maybe it's aberration. Atma. Am I mispronouncing the A after the RR? All right. Tomatoes, right? Not aboriginal, Nancy. So this is fucking crazy, bro.
That's just wrong. I will mess up your looks for that. Lousy goyim.
Bro, what? That's so funny. It's also funny that it's lousy goyim. Like that's also what Krusty the Krab said. I mean, Krusty the Clown. Spent many hours just trying to get all the gems on Crash Bandicoot. Yeah, dude. I was a completionist is why I love doing that kind of stuff. I love doing that kind of stuff. The only thing that I don't like to play anything anymore. I played Medieval. I don't know if you guys even remember Medieval. It was a PlayStation 1 game where you were a Sir Fortescue. You were a skeletal knight. They remade that. I played that. That was fun, but I stopped that midway through. I don't have the capacity for many things anymore like that. Uncharted, I'll play Uncharted a little bit, but I'm sure I'm going to give up on that soon. I like the old Pokemon games. I like Leaf Green and Fire Red because it's just the original Red and Blue games remastered. So there's nothing new. Yeah, I don't like playing anything I try to play. I go, fuck, this sucks, man. It's too much. I tried to download Assassin's Creed game, and they wanted me to make a Ubisoft username, whatever profile. I said, fucking no. And I just turned that off. Yeah, it's just nostalgia. It's just nostalgia. But I do think that those old games played better too. There was something about that. I don't know. Maybe not played better, but I don't know how to explain it. There's a quality to them that exists because they are kind of broken. They're not so well polished. Oh, it could be before women became game developers. Yeah.
Did you ever play Earthbound?
My son likes Earthbound because of the soundtrack. I played a little bit, and it was good, but I didn't start playing it till I was older. I was playing it with him when he was little. He continued on. He really liked it.
It's a good game. I used to play it on the Super Nintendo.
Yeah, I think the soundtrack of a game really does something for it. Makes it really special.
Yeah.
And those old games had a quality to them, their music, where they just nailed it. Mm-hmm. They just nailed it. We watched the Super Mario Galaxy movie recently, and it kind of fucking sucked. It wasn't exactly that it sucked as much as it was like, why are they doing so much gay girl power shit in both the movies? That the movies are about two fucking Italians that jump on turtle heads. And they go, what if we make this about the divine feminine? I go, you fucking assholes, man. Just make them about the killing the turtles. Make a whole fucking movie about them killing turtles. How do you mess that up? And I guess it wasn't messed up. The critics all agree. It was a good movie, but yeah, PS2 was the beast system. Not the beast system in the harlot, but like really good. It was a good system. Salt and Sanctuary, Castlevania, Hollow Knight. Hollow Knight's kind of fun. Castlevania's good. I like Castlevania when it was an early platformer, although I did have a Castlevania game for Nintendo 64 that was 3D first-person view. It was a hard fucking game. You see they're poking out of the sewers again. I didn't see any reptilians in the sewers. You fucking liar. Still reserved. You liar. I don't know what this show was supposed to be about. Well, the Jews, yeah. I loved World of Warcraft. Never played World of Warcraft. I played Diablo in 1999 or 2000, and it was good. And I enjoyed that. I do not enjoy Dark Souls. Dark Souls is fucking terrible. When can we play Super Nephilim Death Squad? So we got the music for it, and we're going to have a playable level available at Bohemian Grove. So when you come through, you'll be able to stop at a station and play the whole level through. I think you'll be able to select between either me or Top, and you play one level in completion. You fight one boss at the end of it, and then, just to kind of get you guys hyped. Golden Axe was fun. Yeah, I like Fallout, but these days I don't have the capacity for a big game, so like it's just too much. It's too much. There's too much to do, and I can't do that. These days, my capacity is like a Mega Man X game. Got to be mobile game or what? I don't know what we're gonna do. I think we're gonna release it on Steam. Yeah, I think we're gonna release it on Steam. Matt's a character, but not a playable one. Not going to be in the demo. You might see him in the demo, but he's not going to be playable. Although you will have some unlockable sprites afterwards, after you beat the game. I think one of those unlockable sprites might be Toad, which I think might actually, the controls might be inverted for him because he's built backwards. So it'll be like a high challenge mode, if you can beat it with Toad, like that kind of a deal. But there'll be other unlockable characters. I think Nancy will also be in the demo. So yeah, the arcade console has all the Mega Man games on it. And I think what we're going to do here is we're going to have an actual arcade machine in the library. So if you come and you hang out, you could play the game for free here on an arcade machine in its entirety. That'll be fun. No, I don't think we're going to have Clint. We're going to have like different sorts of like each level will be themed and there will be a theme boss. I pretty sure I can confidently say that there is a sort of a digital demon. One of these things takes place in like a frequency digital realm. And at the end of it, there's like a viral demon, like that kind of a giant viral demon that you fight. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of silly shit, but I know the music crushes already. And I think that's kind of the thing, man. If you can get a good song going for some of those Super Nintendo games back in the day, well, I think Timothy Alberino will be, I don't want to give away too much, but I can give away some of it. You'll also unlock different outfits for your characters. And I think, there's a good chance that one of them will be Indiana Jones outfit. So, and yeah, we're definitely going to do something with Timothy Alberino. Guys, don't forget that pretty soon we're going to have something probably on Patreon. If you're going to be coming to Bohemian Grove, you're going to want to pre-register for your Timothy Alberino costume competition, because we're not going to have a bunch of slots because it'll just go on forever and ever if we do. Of course, you can feel free to dress up like Indiana Jones or Timothy Alberino and not compete in the costume competition, which I don't know why you would do that, because there will be prizes for whoever wins, probably first, second, and third place. We could do something like that. But you're going to want to pre-register. Don't know. I mean, it's probably going to be like 1 is a swag bag. 1 and 2 are like swag bags of different magnitudes. 2 and 3 swag bags of different magnitudes. First place will get a swag bag, but we'll get something else on top of it. It might be an autograph, or at least it'll include an autographed version of the Book of Enoch by Timothy Alberino, but we'll probably throw some other fun stuff in there as well. Nemo should be a boss demon. Now, he should be like maybe like a crazy homeless dude that exists in the beginning of one level who screams, "It's all the Jews," and then immediately gets obliterated by some like greasy demon. And by obliterated, I mean like aggressively ass fucked. And we're like, oh no. And there's blah, 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 blah. And we're like, no, no. They're like, blah, blah. And then he explodes. That could be cool. Gary, the numbers guy. Well, we want to keep it all like, you know, we'd like to fight a Nephilim. And I think a lot of this is going to have to do with the acquisition of ancient relics as well. So there's going to be time travel. Matt loves time travel. There's going to be time travel in the different stages. They're going to have a different boss. And these bosses are going to be, a lot of them are going to be relevant to like biblical content, but they're all going to have with them a relic of sort that they're drawing power from. So like maybe it's Goliath's sword, or maybe it's the spear of destiny, or, you know, you name it. We're going to get these relics and then you collect them and then you can use them, which is also cool. What a cool game, huh? I think that's great. Yeah, Gilgamesh, Nimrod. Be cool to have a Tower of Babel level. You ever play Super Ghouls and Ghosts where you're walking up the spiral tower? It does sound dope, right? It's actually not a bad idea. All right, I gotta bring this in for a landing because we got another show very soon. Is there anything I want to say in closing? Wilcock for a side character. The ghost of David Wilcock would be cool. Would be cool. The team of bad guys is Gary, the numbers guy, Vince, Tim Blapperino, the blurry guys, and of course, Nathan Reynolds. You know what'd be really funny is to have a moment where you get to a boss and it's a guy that represents Nathan Reynolds, basically, like looks the same, wears the same dumb shit as he does, says the same outlandish bullshit that he does. And he goes on like a tirade about how when he was young, he was turned into a child assassin and he's decapitated endless amounts of adversaries and thrown them at the feet of pastors in the Lady of the Lake Church in fucking Arizona. And he does this whole big spiel and then like something like some giant creature just lands on him, smushes him. And then the boss battle starts against the giant creature. It was never going to be Nathan Reynolds. That could be cool. Yeah, I agree. Thanks. Lives with wolves. Is that something he said? Fucking come on. Is that true? All right. So, guys, stick around and come and watch us talk to the Phone Booth podcast, guys. That'll be real fun. And, oh, yeah. Buy sport drink. I actually forgot to drink this. I took it out and I was going to have it before this episode. And then I had to poop. So I went to the bathroom instead. And then by the time I came back, it was time to start the show. And I didn't have time to pour myself sport drink. But if I did, I would have enjoyed potassium, magnesium, caffeine, taurine, and niacinamide, as well as Baja Gold mineral salt, and all of the delicious energy that comes with it. If you go to sportdrink.com, you can use promo code SQUAD and get 10% off of your can of sport drink or sport dream or sport energy, which is a good product. Okay, bye-bye.